What's good? What's good? I am back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. So, my next guest, of course, is a professional bare knuckle fighter, because that's typically what we interview on this podcast. And he will be fighting February 1st on a Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut versus Jack Shady Brady. Let's bring on Sito Navarro.
What's up,
Sito, what's
guys?
good, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you hear
I'm doing
me?
good, man. Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, man. Everything's good.
Yeah, I can hear you. So before we get into your fight, I want to just get a few questions out of the way. Just try to get to know you as a person and a fighter and whatnot. But what were you doing before you got into bare knuckle?
Yeah. So before I got a bare knuckle, I did traditional boxing. Just did the amateur boxing. I had
Okay.
about, I believe, 12 to 13 fights. Got some couple experiences there. I went from novice, and then I got to experience like fighting open class. I went to nationals as well. I believe in Tennessee back in 2018. That was a great experience. I fought a couple guys, you know, and I fought a couple of open class fighters as well. And yeah,
Mhm.
before I did bare knuckle, I just did strictly traditional boxing as a career wise. But I started like in the fight game, I believe in 2013, 2014. I don't know many of those that follow BKFC, but back in BKFC 8, Gabriel Gonzaga was the main event when he fought I forgot what his name. It was his Bigfoot Silva, and I used to train with him, Gabriel
Okay.
Gonzaga, for like jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I used to do a lot of like wrestling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've competed once or twice, like on a couple of tournaments, but nothing too like crazy. It was just more like just trying to get in the experience. But I started my career just doing strictly boxing.
Now, did he kind of push you into going to the bare knuckle?
No, not really. And at that time, I was way more young. I was younger. Like right now, I'm 23, but at that time, I was like 12 or 13 at the time.
Wow.
And he was still in the UFC, and I was just trying to get in there, just get in the game, I haven't seen him since, but no, it wasn't. No, I don't think he knows I do the bare knuckle now, but he's doing his own thing. But I hope he's doing good.
Now, why did you decide to get into bare knuckle? Because it sounds crazy when people hear somebody just willingly trying to get into bare knuckle.
Right, and it's funny you say that. I don't blame you because my coaches think the same thing. They were like, "Oh, you crazy doing bare knuckle." So, no, man. Other than that, so I watched BKFC one when they first started, and I just got into it. I was more into the sport when I saw Paulie Malignaggi fought when he fought Artem Lobov, and I think that was like pretty cool. And I
Yeah.
know at that time BKFC was getting bigger and bigger. So I just saw the tryouts they were doing in New York and Belfast, New York. I think it was back in 2020, I believe it was. And shout out to my brother Zach Kalmus. He's actually fighting next week at the Wells Fargo Center. And he's a New England boy. He's from Massachusetts, and without him, I wouldn't have got to BKFC where I am today. To be honest with you, he hooked me up with a ride down there because I was trying to go there myself. I was driving a beat up Honda Civic. It was really
Okay.
bad. I was willing to drive down there, but I ain't had a ride. So I hooked up Zach Kalmus. He got me a ride to the tryouts, and he introduced me to a couple of guys there, and I went from there.
Yeah, everybody loves Zach, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. A lot of people say like, oh, he's a little like crazy. He's a little this and that. He's a talks a lot, but when you really get to talk to him, get to know him, he's a really cool guy. Like he's a really really cool guy, and people so there's people out there that think he's a bad person, but he's actually a great person, to be honest with you.
Yeah, from my experiences, I produced the interview with him, and then I interviewed him myself. And yeah, he sounds like a guy that people might would think is off his rockers, but like you say, he's just a really good guy from what I've my experience with him.
Yeah, man. He just knows how to talk. He knows how to advertise him. He always knows how to market himself. So I give him that. But other than that, yeah, man, he's a really great guy. And I always tell people like, no matter how many interviews I do, I always shout him out because again, if it wasn't for him giving me that ride, I wouldn't be here today.
Now, was there anything from boxing that you were able to apply into bare knuckle?
As far as like, what do you mean by that, brother? Like,
Like, I mean, is there any skill set from boxing you was able to apply with bare knuckle? Because everybody says bare knuckle is just so much different than everything else.
oh yeah, no, yeah, it's different. You know what I mean? Like when I my first bare knuckle fight, I learned more like my technique and like skills like like I normally fight. I used to just be patient, use my technique, my skills, and my footwork, and that showed a lot in the first fight. The second fight, I actually got a taste of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very different because when you're like blocking and boxing, it's so different because you're blocking with your the padding of the gloves, especially when you're sparring. But bare knuckles, like you could just jab someone or even just throw like a simple right hand and then it just goes through your hands and that like it tests you, you know what I mean? So it's way different.
So, first fight was Anthony Prater. Why do you feel like you were able to finish him off pretty quick?
So it wasn't more like I felt more. I just knew, like, I just like believed in myself. I knew that was a opponent that I can beat. I watched a lot of fights of his at the time, and again, everyone's fights is very different. I think with him, it was more like he just kept like punching, like he's just more like a aggressor. He's always likes to
Okay.
be aggressive, no technique really.
Hmm.
So I thought to myself, maybe if I can like we were working a lot more on like technique and like sitting on body punches a lot because we noticed like he doesn't get hit down there a lot. So I was
Hmm.
like, man, maybe if we worked on this would maybe play a factor. But obviously, at that time, like it was more like, all right, this is bare knuckle. This isn't like boxing or MMA or kickboxing. Like I gotta get prepared for this. And yeah, man, that fight was that was a great one.
Now, your second fight was with Nick Gonzalez.
Yep.
Didn't go your way. What do you feel like was your biggest mistakes fighting Nick?
My biggest mistake with Nick was more and again shout out to him. He gave me definitely an experience. So I was definitely humbled by that loss. But that fight alone, my biggest mistake was just not putting my hands up really.
Mhm.
It was just more like here than up in my chin really more. And I just learned a lot more off that fight. What a lot of people don't know is that like I got headbutted off that fight, and when the first knockdown, because when I like went for the body shot, he
Mhm.
like headbutted me,
Mhm.
and that my whole nose and my orbital bone like cracked, and then he landed at the hook the same time,
Yeah.
and when he hit me, like I couldn't feel anything like from my neck down, and it was hard for me to like I don't know if you saw that. I'm sure you saw that fight, but like my reaction was just really off. But when I got back up, like I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should be good. But when he hit me again, I couldn't feel anything and all that stuff. But it was, but then at the same time, what caused it was that I wasn't putting my hands up, so that was on me, to be honest with you. And
Do you do you think that head bump was intentional?
no, I don't think it was
Okay.
intentional at all. No, I don't think it was
Okay.
intentional. And again, I'm not making like any excuses for my loss. The past is the past. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But I do think that that's what caused it with the punch to like just completely shatter everything. Because when I got checked out, like they were saying like, oh, you need to be out for months. You may need surgery, so it was like I needed like months to recover, and it was crazy because it was like 7 months from then I was sparring, and then like I remember sparring and I just got hit with a simple just jab, nothing hard, and then my nose was just gushing again,
Oh man.
and it was just like, oh, like that's when I was like, all right, I need more like recovery time, but like I'm fine now, I'm good now, but at the time it was yeah.
Now, I noticed you haven't had any bare knuckle or BKFC fights in over a year. Do you know why that was?
I do feel like because it's just more about the promotion, really.
Uh-huh.
Other than like me being the sidelines, I know I'm not the only one that's off for a year. Like I know a lot of BKFC fighters till this day that they're being sidelined for more than a year and then they haven't fought. Um, yes, I did take some time to again recover and everything, but there was times where like I wanted to get back in there and
Yeah.
fight and everything. I did get offer to fight in the Mohegan Sun card when they came back in May.
Okay.
At that time, I was in training at that time, but the main reason was more was because I had a new job at the time, and then it was also a short notice too, and my weight was really high, and my team alone just feel like they knew that I wasn't gonna get ready within like a 5 week fight camp because I did the same mistake when I fought Nick Gonzalez.
Hmm.
I got ready for 6 weeks, but this fight, I mean the when they offered me the Mohegans fight back in May, the same thing happened again. So it was just more like no, like not this time, but definitely this time or next time around, like we're gonna definitely fight.
It made me think about. So, do you think like sometimes fighters just feel a little pressure to take some of these fights sometimes when they're not really ready?
Yeah, I feel like some fighters like they feel pressured, like because when you get that like text message or call, like yo, like hey Cito, like you want to fight or just any fighter, like you're like oh damn, I'm really excited, but then it's short notice. I'm not gonna say any names, but I know like fighters like BKFC fighters, like they'll get a
Yeah.
short notice fight or even a title shot fight, and
Yeah.
they'll decline it because their weight is their weight's not there. They haven't had a full training camp. They've been maybe training then and there, but nothing too crazy shabby, And I think it's more of the pressure. But I have a new team now, so my coaches and shout out to my team. Like my coaches is more like, hey, as long as you stay ready, you get ready, and you get that call, like boom, we take any fight. And I
And
just been getting ready since before I even got the offer for the Jack Grady fight. To be honest with you.
and that seems smart on your behalf because I do know that when people don't make weight, that goes against them. BKFC remembers that and puts that strike on you, like, yeah, this guy can't even make weight. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. And it's funny with the weight thing too. So I do want to say something about that. So the past two fights were 145, right? But they
Okay.
were supposed to be 135. When I
Okay.
fought Prater, we agreed to do 135. When we got the contract, it said, well, 145. I don't want to go too deep into it.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what was going on with that. So at the time, I was with another manager, and the other manager was telling me like, "Hey, let's just take the fight for 145 now, so y'all get the feel for it, and then boom." The Nick Gonzalez fight, what a lot of people don't know was that I was gonna make the weight. He couldn't make the weight. He couldn't make the weight. So BKFC, reached out to my manager at the time and said like, "Hey, he can't do 135. Can you do 145?"
Hmm.
And instead of me being hard headed, I just was so like excited to get back in there.
Yeah.
I just said, yeah, nah, fuck it. Like, I don't care if it's 145, 155, let's do it. But not next thing you know, like the day of the fight, these dudes like all big and everything. I think I'm like, holy fucking shit. So I'm just like, oh shit. But at the same time, like, I it's stuff like that I learned from that I'm
Yeah.
happy to say right now that like that's not gonna ever happen again. Like I'm gonna fight my natural weight class, and my weight class is 135.
Now, how many
So
times a year would you like to generally fight?
as active as I can be, to be honest with you, I don't want to say like oh maybe 2 3 fights a year. As active as I can be, honestly with you, you know what I mean. Like I've talked to my manager. Shout out to my boy DJ Tony. I always say DJ Tony. That's just my guy. But yeah, we talked about that too. Actually, like we want to like get back on the Miami card.
Okay.
After this fight, but I'm just gonna focus on this fight. But we do
Yeah.
want to stay active, like in the future for this year. Because I don't want to be sitting on the sidelines because I am a young upcoming fighter at 23, and I don't want to always keep like waiting like a year and a half for a fight.
Now you fighting Jack Shady Grady.
Right,
His
right,
nickname is Shady, which says it all.
right.
I mean, how much do you know about Jack?
We were actually in the same tryouts in New York,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he was doing a lot of talking and like
Yeah, he
showboating
does.
and and just like he was talking a little smack to Reggie and a couple of other guys, but I think that's just how he is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But he does a lot of like talking, and I don't get like that doesn't phase me at all, to be honest with you. We also fought on the same night. He fought someone else. I fought Prater. He fought someone. I forgot the name. But we fought on the same night, and yeah, that's how much I know about him. So
Now, I don't know if you remember when he fought Reber.
yeah, I remember
Like
that
he
fight.
he has a thing with like he like the headbutt. That's why I was kind of asking, like, do you feel like it was intentional or with Nick? Because like with Jack, they say it's intentional when he headbutts. He's like that. I've heard that he's a real dirty fighter. Have you heard that too?
Yeah, I've heard that many times, and I do think he intentionally did headbutt him. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
because think about it, like the first time is the first, you know what I mean. But if you're doing it more than once, second, three times, then all right, like you're forcing it, you know what I mean. Like you're just like it's like I look at that, it's like, all right, this guy's just scared, you know what I mean? Because he's just trying to find a way out. That's how I look at it. Like, my first fight, like I'm not gonna make any excuses. Like that's what happened to me, and then that's what it is. And I learned from it. But yeah, I think that was just him being scared, and you know what I mean? And it's just him just trying to find a way out, to be honest with you.
Now, have you noticed any weaknesses from Jack that you can exploit?
Yeah, I mean, he's very aggressive, you know what I mean, but I think that's what he uses that a lot to in his advantage. But when people pressure him back, when he fights and then someone pressures him back, like he folds, you know what I mean, and he clinches. When he clinches up, he's always putting his head down. He's not even looking at you, and I think that's a sign of weakness, you know what I mean. But every fight is different, to be honest with you. Every fight is different. He may have he may have gone better, but I feel like I've been training really hard, so I can't wait for this fight. But other than that, I'm not gonna go in there and underestimate him. To be honest with you, and I think it's a fight's a
Mm.
fight. One punch can change anything, as we all can agree to that. But I am gonna go in there and do my thing, and I am gonna come home with this W.
Speaking of the clinch, can
Right.
a bare knuckle fighter last long in this sport if they not good in the clinch?
Ooh, I think it depends. That's a good question. I think that depends on the fighter that's getting clinched up. To be honest with you, because I know a lot of
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen fights when people get clinched up. They fold, they get
yeah,
dropped, or they hang on tight, and then they
yeah.
start fighting back. Like I got clinched up with Prater, you know what I mean? And he was clinching me. He was like trying to throw uppercuts, and I think it's more about how you react to it, really. Like what do you do when someone clinches back? But I think every fight is different, to be honest with you. But I do think that when you're clinched up, like that could be a major, like that it could be dangerous, to be honest with you. Depends on how you react to it.
Yeah, because you got some guys like Derek Perez, like he lives for the clinch. He lives for getting you up against them ropes with them body
Right.
shots and them face shots. And them face shots when you're in the clinch, they don't look like they'll knock you out, but you could just tell how effective they are.
Yeah, no, I see that all the time. Yeah, Derek Perez, yeah, he does a lot of that clinch stuff. He seems pretty like good with that. Yeah, I seen him a couple clinch a couple of guys, and and doesn't look like effective, but it's just one of those situations where you're like, oh shit, fuck, like he got me in a clinch, like I'm trying to get out of there, you know what I mean? But then you're all like tied up and you're already getting like your face beat up. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how he did Reber. I mean, when I go back and watch the Reber fight with him, watching the second time, I still like, how the hell did Reber win this match?
Right. Yeah, yeah. I think not, but I think yeah, I think Reber just recovered, really well.
Yeah, he
He's
recovered very well. Yeah.
yeah, like most people when they get knocked down, they just get back up. But he like sat there, took his time, took a deep breath, and he did his thing. I
Now
think it
coming
was a
off,
wake up. I think it was a wake up call. That's how I
yeah.
look at it, like too.
Now coming off a loss, do you feel like this is a must win?
No, I don't feel like this is
No.
a must
Okay.
win at all. I don't feel like that at all. To be honest with you. Um, but I do again believe I am going to win this fight. I do feel like maybe this is a good fight for me as a comeback. I do feel like that. But this isn't one of those like, oh, it's I have to win this fight. No,
Yeah.
I mean I know I'm gonna win this fight. I know I've been training hard. I know I've been disciplined. I just got to go out there and do my thing. And show BKFC and my team, but really it's just to show BKFC like I'm here to stay, I'm here to grow within the company, and I'm here to make we all here to make some money and grow within the company. I'm here to be a world champion too. That's my mindset. I'm going in there to do my thing, show the whole staff that I'm there to be a world champ. But obviously with this fight, I got to do that.
And I think with bare knuckle, what I realized is that everybody's going to take a loss at some point. So I think it's less discouraging in bare knuckle when you take a loss than maybe boxing or
Right.
MMA.
Right. Because there's a lot of UFC fighters too, man. Like they have a couple losses on them, but the amount of love that they get is crazy.
Yeah.
Even BKFC is the same thing.
Yeah.
But with boxing, it's like you could be like 25-0, but the moment you get like one loss, like they think like, oh, this guy's a journeyman, he's a bum, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because the thing with boxing is like, no disrespect to the sport, but it's like when you look at their records, like they especially the winning records, they didn't fight anybody, and that's
Yeah.
fine
Yeah.
because they're building their way up, they're fighting their local shows, they're selling tickets and that's fine and everything, but when they get that real tough big fight, like that's when
Yeah.
it's like, oh shoot, like you can fight Canelo, you lost by Canelo, and boom, you're already a bum, you know.
Yeah. Boxing is a sport where they definitely try to preserve their record. They'll take a lot of fights that they know they're automatically going to win.
Right, exactly, they and it's against nobody's, it's
Yeah.
probably a taxi driver or or just somebody, but it's way different. I feel like the wins and losses recognition compared to boxing to bare knuckle and MMA is way different.
Now, in bare knuckle, one thing I realized is it's really important to put on a good show. Would you agree with
Yeah.
that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And David Feldman wants that.
Yeah.
He be telling everybody, hey, I want you to go out there and fight your fucking asses off. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do think bare knuckles. Other than that, yeah, bare knuckles like an entertaining show because those fights never last. Like
Yeah.
it's always a nonstop action. To be honest with you, and it's never boring.
Yeah, and that's why they got I think these bonuses, the fight of the night bonuses, the knockout of the night is really to encourage either somebody to go out there and just get it over quick with the amazing knockout, which amazing knockouts can be exciting too.
Yeah.
Even though
Right.
I do prefer, to watch those 4 or 5 round matches, and those always make for the fight of the night. Nobody really gets fight of the night if you knock them out like that.
Right. I can agree with you with that. Yeah, that is true.
Now, you were saying like you were off for a year because you had a new job and stuff like that. How hard is it to make a living as a fighter?
It's funny you say that because the job that I work at right now, because I
Mhm.
work at Jordan's Furniture, so I sell
Okay,
furniture and everything. I work like retail hours. Shout out to that job. That they're a New England company. They're a family owned company. They're very known out there.
that's what's up.
They're owned by like Warren Buffett and everything,
Oh, okay.
so they're a very like top like furniture company.
Yeah,
But like to answer your question, what I'm trying to say is that to make a living, I mean, I feel like everyone's different on how they live their lifestyle. Like if you're one of those that live a bougie lifestyle and you're trying to like make a living, that's different. But in my case, I was still I'm still good, I'm happy. I have a beautiful home. I have a fiance, I have a beautiful daughter. I'm still doing good, you know what I mean? I'm just very grateful that my job is very supportive with my career
that's
because
what's up.
the reason why I say that is because I work retail hours, right?
Yeah,
But they were when I told them, hey, I got a fight coming up, they were able to accommodate my hours, let me leave early. Like I go. They let me like I can even go to the gym this morning. I'll be at the gym in the afternoon on time. Like they're very supportive. I even got the whole most of the workers, my coworkers coming to the job. I mean to the fight, supporting me, and it's a great feeling,
Now, what have you heard about this $25 million tournament?
Shoot, I want to get on that too.
I've heard
Nah,
it's for a
honestly,
145 and up though.
yeah, I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of things to be honest with you with that. I heard there's a rumor that they're gonna do like a 135 up to 165 and then
Okay.
165 up to like heavyweight. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of things about it. I don't think you're gonna get paid exactly 25 million. I think
Yeah, I think it's 15 million for like the main winner, what is what I heard. And then
right,
10 million spread out amongst other fighters, I'm thinking.
right. And I think how it works is let's say there's a it's going to be a tournament, but I feel like the more you win, like the 25 million is divided into how many fights you're fighting,
Okay.
if there's I don't know if you know what I mean, like if there's 5 fights you have to win in order to win the 25 million. I think that 25 million is divided into 5,
Okay.
and then you get your 25 really. But I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like a great opportunity though. I'd love to be on that
The
Eh,
part that
let's
doesn't
see.
make sense for me is like, okay, now you said they probably have it from 135 to 165. That makes a little more sense because before I heard that, we were thinking like, so as a guy that's 145, what has he got? What if he has to fight a guy who's like 225?
Yeah, and it's funny and it's crazy because yeah, 135, 165, but let's say the 165 right? Just
Yeah.
because he's fighting at 165 doesn't normally that's his walk around weight. Like he could walk
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
like
At
190,
170.
180,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And it's for me, it's I don't know, see, that's the thing with bare knuckle. You got to be a dog to be in this thing. You just got to fight. But I just feel like the weight thing can be a whole advantage of just it would just make a huge difference. Just fighting a 135er and then you're a 165er, knowing you're walking around 170 or 180. And it's oh, I don't know. I'm still curious on how they're doing that.
Did you watch the last fight card this last Saturday?
Yep, the LA one. Yep, I watched that one.
So I want to ask you about the Justin Martinez fight, which I interviewed him like a
Yeah,
week before the fight.
yeah. I
I
like
mean,
just
it seems like this guy, what's his name? Prince Gutierrez, Alexander Prince Gutierrez. I mean, this guy seems to be the laughing stock of BKFC right now. Like, what's the talk on what happened with that fight? Everybody's saying that he definitely tried to quit and get out of that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Justin just again he didn't intentionally mean to do that, but I think
Yeah.
he probably pulled a muscle when he pulled him up or something. I don't know, and he
You
got
think
a
he really pulled a muscle though?
he probably I don't know honestly. He probably or maybe that was his. I thought it's funny you say that because I thought the same thing too. I was thinking to myself he probably just didn't want to fight. He just probably didn't want to fight. Because again, you got to be a dog to be in this bare knuckle thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that shit's gonna bother you, then imagine getting freaking hit hard. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that was just his way of didn't want to fight. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I even seen memes about this guy. I'm like, I've never seen memes about a BKFC fighter ever.
Right.
Uh, That's how you know it's like, yeah, this guy, he probably won't be fighting with the company again. I know Feldman and them is definitely like, nah, dog. That like we know how Feldman is, man. He don't want to see no bad show or bad performance.
Yeah, and that's one thing I know about Feldman is that he wants everyone to fight their asses off, regardless if
Yeah.
it's a win, lose, a draw. As if he sees that you're putting your heart out there, I know he's gonna try to do his best to take care of you and all that other stuff, a bonus and everything. But if you when you do something like slick shit like that, you know what I mean, he's gonna get pissed. You know what I mean? So he's not gonna want you back.
And you kind of cheating the fans, man. You know, like these fans at Bare Knuckle, man. I realize like there's some diehard fans, man. Some real diehard fans with this bare knuckle.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, they definitely some diehard fans, especially especially like when Justin. Remember when he I don't know that opponent he fought, but when he fought this guy, he literally like knocked him out, I think, or knocked him down the last round of the minute, and then they disqualified Justin and they
Oh,
gave
that
the
was
other guy the
yeah.
win because supposedly he hit him late, but I think
That was
he hit him.
Austin Lewis. That was Austin Lewis. Yeah.
I still think Justin should have won that one, in my
I
opinion.
do
You
too.
know,
I do
it was
too. He got screwed.
yeah, I think he got like screwed big time. But then part of me says like, you know what? It was probably those one of those situations like the A side, B side. You know what I mean? Where the A side was like, all right, like this is. They usually do that a lot, but I don't know. You know.
But I would think sometimes with the adrenaline that you get in bare knuckle, sometimes you're gonna be going to swing at a dude right when the bell hits, and you're not
Right,
just
right.
gonna stop right there. You just still gotta go through with it.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, it's the truth. You know, honestly, you know, and yeah, I still think he should have won that fight. Yeah, my bad. It's my dog.
I good. I got a dog too.
He just sees another dog, man. Once he sees another dog, he starts acting up.
Now, how do you feel about the future of bare knuckle fighting? Some people say it could be big as the UFC. You agree with that?
I 100% agree with that. I do agree with that, especially Conor McGregor joining as a co-owner of the organization. I think that plays a lot in the organization.
Yeah.
Like for example, like he just I think it was Jake Paul the other day. He just posted a picture of him and McGregor and Logan Paul, and then they started tagging Bare Knuckle. So I feel like the more people tag that organization, they're gonna be like, "Oh, bare knuckle, what's bare knuckle?" You know what I mean? And like, I know BKFC now they have a lot of followers on Instagram than a lot of like other organizations, out there. And I do feel like a lot of like UFC fighters now they're going
Hmm.
to come to bare knuckle and BKFC very soon. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. You know how I look at bare knuckle? I almost look at it like Ice Cube's the big three. Cause
Right?
like you got dudes leaving the league and they can actually go to this league now, still do what they love and get paid to do what they love. Same thing with these. You got Austin Trout, retires from boxing. Now he's a world champion in bare knuckle. Houston Alexander left UFC. I mean, he fought till he was 50 years old, and now he's literally
Yeah.
undefeated. He's undefeated, and they won't even let him fight no more, which is crazy to me.
Right.
But it's definitely created a second shelf life for many, many fighters. And I think you're gonna see all these guys. Like, what's that chick? Holly Holmes or whatever I think her name
Holly
is.
Holm. Yep. Yeah. Holly Holm.
Like,
Yep.
I'm already thinking like, yo, you UFC let you go. Bare knuckle, man. You should be going to bare knuckle.
Right. Yeah, and I see a lot of UFC fighters. They're like retired, and they're coming over to BKFC. Like, I when I heard Demetrius Johnson retired, I was like,
Mhm.
hey, I think he should try out BKFC. You know what I mean, I think that would be a nice opportunity to see him do. And I still think he still has it in him because he's still fast and he still got it though.
Now you think because like fighters that come over from like maybe UFC or boxing and they see like, oh, bare knuckle, they only doing 5 2-minute rounds. A cardio doesn't play a factor, and you think they might underestimate how much cardio does play a factor in BKFC?
Yeah, I do. Because I'm sure there was like former UFC veterans or fighters like when they stepped into the bare knuckle, like they see it's very different. I don't know why, but the BKFC like the rounds, like it kind of reminds me of like the amateur days
Uh
where
huh.
like it's fast paced. Like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
three two
yeah.
minute rounds, it's always those two guys just going at it like crazy. But the only difference is it's bare knuckle. You know what I mean? Like you get hit like with like two good shots, and you're like, oh shit, like I'm hurt. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, how many minutes left to the round is over? Because I'm cut up right now. So I do feel like a lot of people like do underestimate. Sorry,
Oh,
can you hear me?
oh, you good? Yeah, you good? Yeah, you good?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do underestimate the bare knuckle, especially the rounds too.
Now you watched the Tony Loco Soto and Tenaglia fight, right?
Yeah, man. I love that. I love that fight. I enjoyed watching that fight. Shout out to Tony, man.
That's clearly fight of the year, right?
Yeah, ah, there were other fight. I think I'd give that one as a fight of the year, to be honest with you, because those guys were going at it from
Yeah, yeah.
first to last, trading knockdowns. You know what I mean? And then Tony hit him with that body shot, like, as a comeback. Like that was like dope, And like you could tell, like on the fifth round, they were so like gassed out and tired that they still like throwing and throwing. I'm just like, oh shoot, like this
But there
this
was
is
no
cool.
knockout power whatsoever by the late fourth and fifth. It was just they were just throwing blows and they just looked slow, but they just didn't want to give up, man, because they didn't want to cheat the sport, man. And
Right.
it it Lido said something, and I was like, yeah, he's on point with this. It reminded you of like Rocky too, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was like, yeah, that fight was a lot to watch. Like I love watching that fight. Like like those guys came in there with that mindset. Like I'm prepared to die for this. And I remember Tony Soto. Like I remember I watching his interview. I think it was a press conference they did. He was like, "Oh, I quit my job for this." Like, remember when he was like, "Oh, I quit my job for this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in there to like fucking die." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I can feel that. And no, and he went in there with that mentality and that energy, and it was like, oh, like he meant what he said. And I do think he deserved that bonus. Those guys deserve those bonuses because, man, they fought their asses off.
Yeah, a lot of people I've seen was shit talking the fact that they was gonna be fighting in a bullfighting arena, but it was amazing. It was a really stacked card, and it was a really amazing fight. I mean, Tony Loco Soto actually used to be a skateboarder, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right.
And now I think he was like he was either like a security guard or a correctional officer or something like that, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah. I heard about that too. Yeah, something about that. But other than that, whatever he's doing now, man, like God bless him and his family, especially his kids. Like I'm really a fan of like Tony Soto. Honestly, like I'm actually a
Yeah.
big fan of his. It's just like when he first fought BKFC, just everything about him. He seems like a cool dude.
Now you said you're in Massachusetts, right?
Yes, sir.
So they haven't had no BKFC in Massachusetts yet.
No, but I remember I talked to Feldman one time, and I was like, "Hey, you guys gonna come to Massachusetts, man? Because Massachusetts, like Mike and Mitch would like tell you too, like the New England's a very popular, like a fight town, pretty much, a
Yeah.
city, all that, states, everything. But if they come to Massachusetts, man, oh man, that'd be great. Like I love to fight Massachusetts. I hope I could be main event one day. So I'm actually like born in Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why they want me to be in the Connecticut card too, because they want me to sell tickets and they want my family and friends to be there. I got family in Connecticut, but really I'm raised here in Massachusetts my whole life, to be honest with you.
So have they not legalized it yet in Massachusetts?
No, not that I know of. No.
Same thing with North Carolina. And Tony, he's from Brooklyn, but he's actually based in Hickory, North Carolina. So I know if they bring it to North Carolina, he's definitely going to be like the
Oh
main
yeah, of
card
course.
fight.
Yeah,
And what
man.
would it
It's like,
what would it
yeah.
mean for you to break it in Like you be part of breaking bare knuckle in Massachusetts?
What it would mean if I would fought in Massachusetts.
Yeah, like what would it mean to you if you actually were part of that breaking BKFC in Massachusetts or bare knuckle in general?
I think just me being on the card, I'd be like just grateful. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
I don't want to celebrate too hard, and I don't want to celebrate too much. Like I just want to. I'd be extremely grateful. You know what I mean? But like it'd be really nice like if they come to Massachusetts and then like and I'm the main event, that'd be like an ideal for me, because that would be
Mhm.
great. Hopefully that I could fight for a world title, in Massachusetts. You know what I mean? But regardless, I'm still grateful fighting in Connecticut because that's where I'm, was born at. So regardless, wherever I fight, even besides Massachusetts, I'm still grateful for it. To be honest with you,
So are you mainly trying to fight in the bantamweight, right?
yeah, bantamweight
I I,
is the
I
main
mean,
weight class.
what do you think it's going to take, man, to get a title shot? I mean, this is a stacked weight class. You got Alberto Blas, you got Keith Richardson, Justin Ibarola, good friend of the show, Ryan Reber. You got Chris Garcia. I mean,
Right.
This is Travis Thompson. I heard he's crazy as all hell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Travis, man. I'll give him respect. You know, I like Travis. That's one fight I like to fight in the future. You know, like with Travis because I feel like he's been in the game for a long time, and
Yeah,
like he fights like a lot of guys. You know what I mean? So that'd be one fight like I love to like get in there with. Um, but yeah, man. To answer your question, like the 135 or like those names don't scare me. Yeah, those are top contenders. But that doesn't scare me at all.
yeah,
I look at that like it depends on like what BKFC thinks. You know what I mean? Like people be like, respectfully, what bothers me is that like people be like, oh, like these fighters they'll call out this other fighter, and then regardless if they fight or not, one fighter would be like, "Oh, he's a pussy. He's scared. He's all this. He's all talk." But it's like me, respectfully,
mm,
whoever BKFC, David Feldman or Nate Shook, they reach out to and they say, "Hey, Cito, we got this guy for you. What do you think?" Then we're gonna sign it. I'm gonna say I'm not like ducking from anyone, running from anyone. Like for example, like Michael Larimore when he like that guy just kept calling me out nonstop,
okay,
blowing up my phone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just kept tagging me on Instagram reels and Facebook stuff, and
yeah.
I just ignored him, and then he fought Keith Richardson, and then
And
Keith
got the
just does
brakes
that
beat
to him.
off him. Yeah,
Right, and it's like, and he's over here talking about, oh, I'm gonna be world champion and all that. It's good to believe in yourself, but it's like, yo, don't be doing all that stuff, like stuff if you're gonna be doing all that talk. And it's just stuff like that. That's why after this fight, and again, like I've been training so hard for this fight. Like I've been training really extremely hard for this fight. Me and myself, my team, we all feel like we're gonna come home with this win. But after this fight, man, like yeah, I want to get up there, fight the top, bantamweight contenders out there, and then hopefully I'll get a winning streak going on, and then I'll definitely get a title shot.
well, one thing we can guarantee is when we get done with this interview and I put out a clip, Jack Shady Grady is definitely gonna comment and shit talk. Cause you know what's
Right, right.
crazy? You know what's crazy about this interview? I put out the Reber clip, right? And then Jack commented on that after I beat this guy, you're next. And then right after he put that comment, your guy was hitting me up about interviewing you. I was like, this can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I like Jack just start talking shit, talking about, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy. Reber, you're next. Cause him and Reber, they definitely a lot of bad blood there. And I
Right,
was like, yeah, this can't be coincidence, man, that they hit me up to interview with this guy right when Jack's sitting there talking all that smack. And he's definitely
right,
gonna
right.
talk smack on the post. I guarantee it, man. Cause I mean, some of these guys, I think they have to do that just to get attention, man.
Right, right, right. And no, and that's understandable, you know what I mean? And a lot of fighters out there, they talk shit, they advertise and market themselves because they know
Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
it's like a politics thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you could be a good humble fighter, but if you don't talk, you don't advertise or none of that, it's like sometimes the organization is not gonna want to take care of you because especially if you don't sell any tickets, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
they think of stuff like that. Like Lorenzo Hunt. Like I give him that. Like he knows how to market himself, advertise
Yeah.
himself. He knows how to like promote himself, and he's a monster in that ring. Um, but like and BKFC they I feel like they look for stuff like that.
They do. No, they do. And I think that's why a cat like Brandon Allen hasn't gotten his shot yet because he just says it's followers, but you're not really doing nothing to get everybody's attention either, And
Right,
when I
right,
interviewed
right,
Kai made a great point. Like Kai Stewart has fought 3 ranked guys and beat them
right,
and defended his title. Brandon Allen hasn't fought nobody who's ranked yet. So he feels
right,
like he doesn't deserve a shot yet.
right,
But some people are like, oh, he's dodging Brandon Allen. But when I hear Kai say it, I'm like, I kind of gotta agree with Kai. Maybe this guy needs to fight. Brandon needs to fight El Gallo or one of those guys first,
yeah. I
and
do agree.
show that you actually truly deserve this shot. And you're not
Yeah,
calling those guys out. I don't see him calling those guys out as much as he called everybody. It's easy for everybody to call out the guy who has the title.
right,
Because
exactly. No, no,
everybody
it's
wants
true.
the title. Everybody wants
Everybody
the
wants.
title.
And I feel like Kai Stewart too, you know, like again, shout out to him, you know what I mean? Got nothing but love for him. He's a 145 champ, you know what I mean? But like I feel like he's like fought a lot of like like good guys, you know what I mean? And like even though he beat Brian Duran, even though Brian Duran had his shoulder surgery, I do want to see a rematch with that.
Yeah,
I love to see that
but he
fight.
beat Howard Davis too, though.
Yeah, Howard Day, HD Davis, you know what I mean? He fought Rowdy what's
Jimmy
his name?
Rivera recently,
Jimmy Rivera. What was the other one? Rusty Crowder. That one.
Rusty Crowder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I think from my understanding, Rusty Crowder made missed weight on that fight too, and Kai Stewart still went in there and just put some work on him. So I do think like Kai Stewart, he's a top guy in that weight class. I do want to see like Brandon Allen fight. El Gallo. I do want to
or
see
even
Brandon.
Howard Davis, or even
I
Howard
was thinking,
Davis.
yeah, he was just saying, reading my mind. I do want to see that fight. I feel
Yeah,
like that fight will put them like, or like who's like that should be like a title eliminator. You know what I mean?
that'll definitely put the rest of the BKFC on notice. Where people will be able to say, "Oh, he deserves a title shot if he beats one of
Right.
those two guys."
Right. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree on that. You know, I do want to see Brandon Allen fight for the title too. I feel like he's been like on a winning streak. You know, but at the same time, like you said, man, like there's a lot of guys there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys in that weight class, and I feel like in order to get a title shot too, like they want to see someone that's gonna
Yeah,
like advertise them that's gonna help BKFC grow the company too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It can all play out to like either fighter, really, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and even my guy Redneck, I think he's missing the advertising part. He's very quiet. He's pretty humble. He just wants that one
Right.
fight. He just wants Mike Perry, and that's it. But there's more out there than just Mike Perry. There's just every division has a star in it. Every weight class has a star in it, and multiple guys that can compete against that star.
I
That's what
feel
I
like
like about
right.
BKFC.
No, right. But I do feel like with Mike Perry being such a big name,
Yeah,
after that Julian Lane fight, I feel like BKFC is feeding him to like a lot of like outside name fighters.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even though he
yeah,
fought Thiago Alves and Julian Lane, but I feel like they're feeding him more like former UFC fighters and former Bellator fighters or
yeah,
PFL fighters. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. You know,
yeah. Because
and
they're trying to
everyone
get
wants
him
to
to fight
fight.
Robbie Lawyer.
Robbie Lawler, yeah. I want to see
Yeah,
that fight, but we all know Mike Perry's gonna break Robbie. You know, I love Robbie, man, but he's not that bare knuckle man. Like I feel like that's Mike Perry's game, but I do feel like David Mondell he should get that title shot. I feel like dude, David Mondell's been putting the BKFC on notice for quite some time now, even before he was the champ. You know. And I do feel like he should fight Mike Perry. I do think he does deserve that fight because it's like who else is there to put for David Mondell, really? But I
yeah.
feel
He's
like
actually in the
David,
weakest division. I think he's in the weakest
right?
division, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. I just feel like because they look at Mike Perry too, like he's like a money bag.
No, he
So
is. He's got more
he's a
followers than
money bag,
everybody. Yeah, he
right?
got like
And
1 million followers here, except for maybe that guy Bryce Hall. He was gonna fight
Kimbo
Kimbo
Slice,
Slice Jr. Now he
yeah,
got like 25 million TikTok followers, 1 million followers, a few million on Instagram. So
yeah, right. And that's
you know,
funny because like guys like that, right? I notice is like in BKFC, like those guys they get paid big bucks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I believe they get like paid like some good money. You
yeah,
know, and I want that money too. You know what I mean? Like obviously I'm not here for the money because I'm here to grow within the company. But obviously the more fights I'm in, I want to get like the Mike Perry money. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And whoever these big name fighters they fight, I want to get like that money. But obviously it takes time. But like it's like, but still, it's like these guys, they're doing like good with that. But
Well, they're hoping to make profitability this year. So what can we expect on your fight on February 1st, man?
yeah, man, you're gonna expect fireworks. You're gonna see me do my thing. I'm back. I feel ready. Like stronger than ever. Like again, I have a great team. I have a great camp. I feel extremely ready, physically, mentally ready. Um, I know I'm gonna go out there and do my thing. I'm gonna get this win. I'm gonna go in there for the knockout. Regardless, I'm still training. We're still getting ready for 5 rounds. Even the sixth round, we're
Yeah.
getting ready for. Because I'm still getting ready. I'm always gonna get ready for that death round. Whatever what's that called? The death round, the sixth final round.
Uh-huh. I
You
didn't
know,
know they
go.
do a 6 round in
Yeah, they do
BKFC.
it. And BKFC, they do a sixth round. Like, I think it's like if it's a draw, you have to fight, like it's
Oh,
like an
okay.
overtime round, and then whoever wins that round is the final winner. But I look at every fight like no matter who it is, every fight the same. I treat every fighter the same. Um, my my game plan is to go in there and go for the knockout. Regardless how I do it, I'm gonna go in there and win. And just go from there. And after this fight, hopefully, we get some big other fights after that.
Before we let you go, any shout outs you want to do?
Yeah, man. I just want to give a shout out to you, for taking your time in the
Appreciate it.
day to, interviewing me. So I do appreciate that. I do watch your podcast a lot, a couple of
Oh,
times.
thanks.
Honest with you,
Thanks.
no, I'll be honest with you. I watched a couple of podcasts, with you. So that's how I heard of you as well from just getting your name out there. So it's pretty nice, and it's an honor to be on the same podcast as you. To be honest, brother. Other than that, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. You know what I mean? New kitchen, I got a new kitchen here. I got my dad, sponsoring. I got this club, the number one nightclub in Central Mass, Creed Lounge. We're gonna do an after
Word.
party. We're gonna host an after party very soon. Announcement will come soon. I got OnlyFans sponsoring me. And I want to shout out to my management team, especially DJ Tony. Give a huge shout out to him, man. Like, I feel like he's a great manager. He's always on top of his game. 24/7. Like if I need anything, questions, concerns, like he always got my back. And I want to give a huge shout out to especially my team, my coaches, for helping me prepare, especially my fiance. I love her. I don't want to forget about her. And the only reason why I'm shouting her out is because she is helping me prepare for a lot of meals I've been eating. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Getting on track with the dieting and all that stuff, especially with camp. So like, yeah, I give a huge shout out to all my sponsors, really, honestly. And
Well,
yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time out, yourself to do this. And unlike some of these BKFC fans, I typically am biased to the people I interview. So I will be rooting for you. Um, no matter what Grady, I actually was supposed to interview Jack Grady a while back, and he kind of called it off or something, and he never reached back out. So that's his loss as far as I'm concerned. But I am biased to the people that I interview, man. I will say that.
No, no, and I get you. No, you got nah. And I'll be honest with you, man. Like you got every right to be. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
like you don't know us much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like you go in there, you do your thing, you do your diligence, and you just don't know who you're talking to. Really, you don't know if it's gonna be a good interview or a bad interview. You
yeah,
know. But regardless, like for me, I'm still grateful. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for
yeah.
just taking my time, just you interviewing me. So that means a lot to me, to be honest with you.
All right, well, I appreciate it, man. We're gonna let you go and enjoy the rest of your day, man. I can't wait February 1st, see what happens, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And yeah, man, we're gonna get this win. We're gonna come home with the W. We on the zone, live on the zone, and yeah, man, we can't wait. And also, my bad. Final shout out to Billboard Nerds too. You know what I mean? They
Okay.
hooked me up with the billboards and all that stuff. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people I got, and then your story custom. They hooked me up with some fight shoes and everything. So, but yeah, man. Other than that, thank you so much for taking your time today.
All right, and you're a friend of the show. You're welcome back on anytime you like, man.
All right, brother. Have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Peace.
All right. Yeah. See you, brother.
All right. Well, there you have it. Another interview wrapped up in the books. Can't wait to see what happens February 1st. He's gonna be fighting Jack Shady McGrady or Shady Grady. Called him Shady McGrady. And to be at the Mohegan Sun, Uncasville, Connecticut, which they actually went through there last year, going back through there again. BKFC is really good with when they go to a spot, they milk it as much as they can. and try to get as much fan base and support out of that one area or that venue. So that's Sito Navarro, February 1st, Saturday, Mohegan Sun, Uncasville, Connecticut versus Jack Shady Grady. And I can't wait. Appreciate y'all tuning in for another interview and episode of the Paul Pickett Podcast. And we out. Peace.